Welcome to Shape by Faith with your host, Theresa Rowe. To find out more about Shape by Faith and Theresa Rowe, please visit shapebyfaith.com or visit the YouTube channel, Facebook, or Instagram. And now, here is Theresa Rowe.
Welcome to Shape by Faith, where we shape our bodies and hearts for God's purposes. I'm your host, Theresa Rowe, and my guest today is Nick Whiteside. He's a husband, father of two teenagers with a diverse background in education, fitness, and business. Previously, Nick was a school teacher, personal trainer, and he's always been passionate about helping others grow and succeed. So this year, on February 1st, he embraced a brand new opportunity as the owner of the Earle. It's a beloved men's store in Owensboro, Kentucky. It's been a staple in our community for 60 years. So with a deep appreciation for tradition and quality, Nick is dedicated to continuing the Earle's legacy while bringing fresh energy and vision to the business. Welcome to Shape by Faith, Nick.
Thank you, Theresa. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We go way back to our YMCA days when you were my co-host on Shape Up, that exercise show that ran. How many years did they run that on cable? I mean,
they got their money's worth. I'm not sure.
They did. They ran it like 3 times a day, which was awesome. It was awesome. But how did your experience in fitness, because you were big into fitness there and training other people, how did that shape how you approach life and business today?
Well, really, it boils down to everybody just wants to find happiness. And that's what I found through doing personal training, working with people, whether they wanted to lose weight, whether they wanted to gain muscle, whatever their reasons were. And that comes down to this business here at the Earle too. It's, they want to look good, but looking good makes them feel better. And when they feel better, they're happy. So I think everything just boils down to how can we make people happy? How can we build relationships with them and satisfy their needs so that they're happy? Whether they're happy with what they purchased in the store or, back in the fitness days, are they happy with their results?
Mm-hmm. That's good. So what drew you to make the leap from teaching and personal training into owning the Earle?
Well, yeah, and people ask me about that too, because when I was a school teacher, I was a PE teacher, and I wore, just like workout type clothes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had these jobs, these careers where I was wearing shorts and t-shirts most of the time. And now I'm selling suits and sport coats and khaki pants. So it's kind of a funny transition. But my family, our family history, we have several people in my family. My great grandfather was a tailor when he came here from Italy. And so it goes back to my ancestors were in the fashion industry. My grandfather was the fashion editor for the New York Times.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so he met a lot of really cool designers, like before they were, when they were up and coming designers. So and then my uncle worked in the business as well, and it was always kind of an interest of mine because I always feel better when I look better. When I'm wearing nicer clothes, I feel better about myself. I'm more confident. I have higher self-esteem. That's another reason why I exercise all the time, is because I feel better when I feel like I look better. I feel better about myself. And so everything was kind of rooted in that. And things just kind of worked out where I guess, God really put me in this spot at this certain time where David Epling, who was the owner of the Earle for the last 40 years, everything worked out to great timing on his part and great timing on my part, because I was ready for something new and different. He was ready to sell the business. He was either going to sell it or close it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because he actually had 2 other buyers. He went through 2 previous buyers who, for other reasons, nothing to do with the business, backed out of buying the company. So I was the third person in line. So, we had a conversation several years ago, and it wasn't until more than a year later that he called me and he's like, "Are you still interested in the business?" And at that time, I was looking for another opportunity. I even considered going back into personal training or back into school teaching. And it was, this was a business that I was interested in previously, but when I had a conversation with him, I didn't think anything was going to come out of it, because at the time he had somebody that was going to buy the business. So it all came together on great timing for both of us. And that's divine intervention right there. It's we were
Absolutely.
right time, right place on everything, and it worked out beautifully because he's going to stay here and he's going to help me. He's going to guide me and coach me through the ins and outs of the business because it's a lot more than just selling clothes,
Hmm.
a lot more than selling clothes. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's just it's everything lined up perfectly.
And like you said, that's God's divine timing. And I love how he connects us to do what we're called to do. And we may not know, like you didn't know, like a year ahead or 2 years before, but look what God is doing.
Right,
David is such a kind and gentle man. And, every time I would enter the store, I felt welcomed. I felt
right,
I did. He would talk to you, he would get to know you, he would help you. Like I would look at different things and I would say, what about this or that? And he was just so gracious and kind. And I think that's really what sells is when you're just down to earth and you're just personal with people. I've been in other stores that aren't like that so much, and I probably don't shop there. So but I would power shop at the Earle. I'd buy my husband Robin like a whole wardrobe twice a year. It got to the point where he said, Teresa, that's enough. I don't need anymore. So, but you're right. It is more than just the retail. I mean, there's a lot involved going from school teacher to fitness to now you're in
right.
this retail business. So I can't even imagine. And I saw recently on Facebook where you were buying clothes, right? You were at market. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So twice a year we go up to Chicago, and that's the buyer's market. And so we see all the different lines that are available, everything in menswear, anything from jeans with holes in them to tennis shoes to suits and ties. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It's 3 days of nonstop work. But
You go
yes,
by yourself?
well, David went with me this time, and
Nice.
he'll probably go with me the next couple times because there's a lot to learn with
Hmm.
um, buying when you're working with the lines that are trying to sell you on their products. We have to be very mindful because we have a budget in mind, and we're not a huge store, so we can't carry everything. So we have to be very picky on what we're able to select. So he's going
Hmm.
to be there to guide me through that.
What makes the Earl so special compared to other men's stores out there?
Well, like you mentioned, it's not just going in and buying clothes. We're a relationship business.
Hmm.
And that's really what it comes down to. We try really hard to learn our customers' first names. We want to learn about them. We want to learn, who they are, what is their profession, do they have family that, a daughter or son getting married soon, what's going on in their lives. And we're able to better serve them that way. So the better we know our customers, the better relationships we have. And just like, with personal training and everything too, it stems from that. We have better relationships, a better understanding of their needs. We can service them better. And that's really where we try to stand apart is creating a better service.
That's good. And it is so true. If anyone were to walk in the store, they would find that's true. Um, what brands, Nick, and styles are you going to carry? Are you going to carry something new, or what do you carry now?
Sure. Yeah. Well, eventually, yeah, I will add some new lines. One of the exciting things about going to market a couple weeks ago was seeing some of like the Italian lines that are out. So I try to bring in some unique pieces from some different lines that maybe we haven't carried before, or maybe we haven't carried in a long time.
Mhm.
Currently, we carry your classic brands like we have Hart Schaffner Marks suits, we have Byron suits and sport coats, and then we also carry Peter Millar and Southern Tide and Tommy Bahama on our more casual lines. So we have everything from socks and underwear to suits and ties. But yeah, we are as I get more into knowing my brands and knowing the different lines and what they offer, I'll be able to kind of venture out and add some variety is what I would like to do.
That's awesome. Are there certain brands or styles that the customers love? Do you have a wide variety of ages that come in the store, or who does the store
Yeah.
serve?
Well, so most of our customers are going to be, your working age male, 18 to 60, 18 to 65. That's the majority of our customer. However, when I say customer, their wives, their girlfriends, their moms, they're even
Yeah.
coming in shopping for them. Just like you mentioned, you shop for Robin. So
Mhm.
we have a lot of customers that are shopping for somebody else, but that's who the target market is there. But we do have a wide range, especially since we also do tuxedo and suit rentals. So we'll have high school kids come in here for prom in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So, right. So we serve a pretty wide range of ages as far as our different products, but we have our golfers, pickleball players, they want to come in and buy more performance wear stuff.
Hmm.
And we have our business people who attorneys coming in buying suits. So like I said, it's a lot of variety for
Yeah,
the
it
client.
really is. So, Nick, how does it feel to step into the Earl knowing there is such a legacy, and what values are you going to carry on in the store?
Well, as far as the legacy goes, yeah, it's I feel a big responsibility because there are so many people that have shopped here for years and years and years, and they're expecting that same level of customer service and relationship building and maintaining relationships. So I definitely have some big shoes to fill with taking over as the owner. It's been a staple of Owensboro for so long, and I really feel I really feel like the town really just loves the Earl. So yeah, it's a lot of responsibility, I think, as far as taking on the legacy. But as far as the values go, um, I always go back to me as a Christian, and you have the golden rule. What is it? I think it's Matthew 7:12, I think, or something. The golden rule. Treat others how you would want them to treat you. And so I think everything starts and ends with that. That's kind of the bookmark there. But you go back to when a customer walks in the door, like if I'm that customer, how would I expect somebody to greet me? How would I expect to be treated? And we have customers that walk in and they're wearing a suit and tie. We have
Hmm.
customers that are walking in and they're wearing dirty shoes and jeans with holes in them. And I have the responsibility to treat those people the same, whether they're dressed because
Right.
you don't know, they might just be on you dressed casually for whatever reason. So you have to treat everybody the same and treat them with respect and be kind and welcoming to them and really just focus on what are their needs. I try really hard, especially as I'm learning more and more about this business, to really listen to what they're asking and try to ask a lot of questions because I know if I was a customer walking into a small store, that's kind of what I would expect is, this is what I need and how can you help me? And so that's how I try to treat my customers when they come in the door.
That's good. And you never, like you said, you never know. Someone may be in there, maybe they just mowed their grass,
Right.
and they're
Yeah.
going to come in and buy
Yeah.
an entire wardrobe, or maybe they want to look at what you have. So you never
Yeah.
know. You can't judge a person by the way they look, or the way
Exactly.
they're
Yeah.
dressed. And we know that's so true. It's been tested so many times where people have gone into stores dressed really nice and they're treated really well, and then same person will go back, a few weeks later and dress really horribly, and they're not even, looked upon or even asked if they need some help. So I love your
Exactly.
approach, and so true. So let's talk about the shopping experience at the Earl, and you've been talking about that. So, all right, I go in there and I'm like, Nick, okay, I need a couple of shirts for my husband, and I need, like, where would you even start?
Just by asking you more questions, what is this for? Is it for a special occasion? Are we just looking to restock some wardrobe items? What does he wear on a Monday? What does he wear on a Saturday? Just understanding more about what your needs are and asking a lot more questions and getting as detailed as we can with what his needs are.
Because there's so many women, I believe, like myself, that actually shop for their husbands because their
Right.
husbands do not want to go in and shop at all. And I know
Right.
when Robin needed a suit, I had to drag him in there. It's not that he didn't like David or anything. He really liked him. It's just he didn't have the time. He's like, I'm at work all the time. I don't have the time to go in. So I think that's great that you can take that approach with the wife or the girlfriend and just really help them out. Plus, what I love, Nick, is that you offer gift wrap. So birthday time, Christmas time, whatever time, anniversary time, you offer gift wrapping. And I think that's a lost art. I think times have changed so much
It
where
is. Yeah.
retail stores don't do that. So talking about that and the change of fashion throughout the years, how has the Earl adapted to the different styles that have come through, or have you kind of stayed true to classic, or why don't you talk into that?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we are a traditional men's store, so we're always going to carry your classics, your suits, your khaki pants, white and blue shirts, and your ties. We're
Hmm.
always going to carry those items. We we try to follow some of the trends. So right now, fashion for men is trending a lot more casual. Men are not wearing ties every day to work. They are dressing more casually to work. They're dressing in sort of like what I have on now, which is more of like a casual button-down shirt.
Hmm.
So we try to listen to our customers and watch the market and see what people are wanting to wear. And so we've gone more casual. We have a lot. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
We
all
have a
right.
lot more. Um, we have a lot more casual lines. So like we carry Peter Millar, which is a more casual line, and it's more athletic. So a lot of the performance fabrics are what men are going to as well. So these are going to be like your moisture wicking fabrics, a lot of polyester. So it's going to be really easy care, which is what a lot of men are looking for. I got a lot of men that will come in the door, and women too, and you just say, hey, my husband, he does not want to iron. My husband does not want to take this to dry cleaning. And so that's where we have to look at our products when we're purchasing, and we say, all right, we need to buy these things for the men that are wearing shirts and ties to work and they don't mind ironing or taking things to dry cleaning, but we also have to have these easier care items and these more performance type fabrics because that's where the market is going. The style of pants are changing a little bit. We don't do pleats anymore,
Yeah.
and we do a flat front, and the leg is a lot more tapered now than it used to be. So we do that, but we still have some pants here that have a wider leg and pleats. And it's funny too because like in Italy, they're going back to pleats now.
Oh, well, it always comes back around, doesn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah. So it's like you can't be too trendy, I don't think, because like you said, I mean, it comes back around. So in Italy, they're cuffing their pants and
Mhm.
they're more straight leg uh and they have pleats. So it's like when will that fashion come back to Owensboro? I don't know.
Better save his pants then. I have a whole container, Nick, of
There
his
you go.
pants
Don't
with
throw them
cuffs.
out.
I'm like, you can't wear these anymore, And
Right.
not everyone looks good in the smaller tapered leg either. So it's
That's
good,
true.
it's good to have a variety. Nick, how do you plan on making an impact? And you always have. I mean, people know who you are in the community, but
Right.
beyond selling clothes, as the new owner of the Earl, do you have any plans to be involved with the community?
Definitely. So I definitely want to be involved with like the Chamber of Commerce and some of their programs that they do. But what I'd really like to do is because my background is in fitness and I worked with a lot of kids, and then I have my background as an educator and worked with a lot of kids, I would like to eventually do some things to serve kids and teenagers and do things like help them with maybe etiquette, because we're losing a lot of that right now as far as just teaching kids the basics of maybe like job interview etiquette.
That's
So
good.
maybe we can offer some etiquette classes here in the store, how to tie a tie. We don't wear ties too often anymore, but it's like it would be nice if you wore a tie, if you knew how to tie it. So I'd love to reach out to different areas of the community and try to figure out ways to serve people to maybe um, kind of teach some of the things that aren't being taught anymore.
That
Um,
is so good.
yeah, so I think
I
that'd be a
love
lot of
that.
lot of fun too.
And I
But
think
yeah,
our youth are our future too. And so, as
right,
you
right,
mentor them, and I really call it discipleship training, just teach them. Teach them what you know. I know when
Yeah,
I moved back to Owensboro many years ago, I taught modeling, I taught etiquette, and I had women just like lining up wanting their daughter to learn all that because it was a lost art. People weren't
right.
doing that anymore. So I think that's fantastic, Nick. I'm excited for you. I love what your vision is for the Earl. What are some events that you have coming up?
Well, so we're going to try to do maybe an event a month is kind of our goal, just to find better ways to serve our customers. So one event we have coming up on March 15th, which is a Saturday, we're going to host a prom promotion. So prom is coming up for our area. So we're going to invite all the high schoolers to come in. They're going to get measured, and we'll have all our staff on hand to help measure and help them pick out what type of suit or tux they're wanting to rent, because we do a lot of rentals. They can also purchase them, of course, but we do mostly rentals for prom. But so we'll have all our staff here, and we're going to give away some prizes and just make it a really fun day on March 15th. And then also we're going to do a customer appreciation day, which I think David used to do those a long time ago, and he just kind of got away from them as he got busy. And life gets in the way sometimes,
Sure.
but I'm going to try to bring those back. So we're going to do a customer appreciation day on April 10th. We're going to have Peter Millar here as well to do a Peter Millar trunk show. So they'll bring in some other items that we can't typically carry for Peter Millar. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll have some food. We'll give away prizes. We're going to do some gift baskets, things like that. So just a better way to serve customers, get them in the store and talk to them, even if they're not buying something, we get to talk to them. So it'd be great.
That's wonderful. Okay, so Nick, what does your
So,
wife and your teenagers think about you stepping into this new leadership role?
well, besides they think that I'm crazy, well, they, they're actually very supportive. So it's my wife, she kind of looked at me, gave me a look like, are you being serious when I first mentioned this? And I was like, well, let me find out. I'll start working at the store and get more information about it and see if this is something I want to do. But they've actually been very supportive. My son and daughter, they're actually looking forward to working in the store a little bit. So they do all their sports and all that. So it's kind of hard for them to have a regular part-time job, but they'll be able to work in the store a little bit here and there, just an hour or so at a time. So I think it's going to be really fun for our family just to make it a family business. And they've been very, very supportive of me. So I'm really, really blessed.
That is a blessing. And it's funny at the same time. Are you really serious? Um,
Yeah, because I mean, you're talking to a guy that I was wearing Under Armour all the time, and now I'm wearing
oh,
button-down shirts. So it's a far cry from what I've done in the past.
but hey,
So
you fit the role. You can do it, Nick. You can do it. Um, Tell me, do you have anything so far? I know you just stepped into this role. Do you have anything that's impacted you or any story that you want to share about a customer or just anything? Um, Go ahead and share your heart
sure.
with us. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, something that happened really recently, and it kind of reinforced why I'm in this business. We had a gentleman come in, and he was wearing, his regular clothes, what he was wearing, and I don't know this, and this happens all the time, but for whatever reason, this particular customer just kind of stands out in my mind. But we found what he needed as far as his khaki pants, his sport coat, got him a shirt and tie and everything, and I can't even remember what occasion this was, but he goes into the changing room, and he comes out of the changing room, and I thought it was a different person. Like it looked like he went in the changing room and shaved and showered, and he comes out and he's got everything on, and he's got a big smile on his face. And it was just
Oh,
like, wow, he feels really, really good about what he's wearing. And I know that happens. It actually happens all the time. People come out and they have a smile on their face, especially when they look at themselves in the mirror and they're wearing a suit or whatever, and they look really good and they feel really good about themselves. But for whatever reason, this particular customer just kind of stood out in my mind because he came out and he didn't even see himself yet in everything that he was wearing. And we didn't even have everything tailored for him yet. He was just wearing what we picked out off the rack. So everything wasn't perfectly fit for him yet, but he just looked
right.
so good. He looked like a completely different person. But that stuff like that, it's really cool. It's such a fun business because you are making people smile. And it's just, and a lot of times, fitness was hard because it might be weeks and weeks and weeks before you get a result, and I mean, that it's
If
like,
they did what you told them to do.
right. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's months, but
Yeah.
this was like 5 minutes later, it's a completely different person walking out of the changing room. And that was just really neat to see.
That's a great story. What's one piece of wisdom or encouragement you would share with someone that's they're contemplating whether they should take this leap of faith into a major career change? What would you say?
I would say leap of faith is the word. You definitely want to pray about it. I prayed a lot, and you sit silently and you're just like, God, is this the direction you're leading me? And sometimes it's just it's hard to understand, like, is this his direction? Am I following? Am I listening? And I prayed several times, and just like, give me some big sign, like write this big sign up and tell me, Nick, you should buy this business. And it's just, you pray for that. It doesn't happen like that. But,
Oh,
and I pray too, like, God, if this is not what you want me to do, stop me right now. I don't want to keep pursuing this. This is not the way you want me to go. But I think, I believe that if this was not where I was supposed to be, that I would not be here. I would not be doing this. And so I think you just have to sit quietly and be patient and listen to those around you and pray about it. I mean, that's probably the best advice I can give.
that is great advice. And also you've got a great mentor there in the store, Nick,
Right.
David, willing to come alongside you. I think that's such a blessing. Instead of just stepping out and saying, see ya, he's willing to help you out, go to market. And I think that's so instrumental. But thank you so much for sharing today, Nick.
Yeah.
Where can we find the Earle and products that you carry?
Sure, you can go to theearle.net. That's our website. And of course, you can find us when you do a Google search. But theearle.net is our website. You can come visit us. We're in Wesleyan Park Plaza, right down the strip from Kroger. So come in, check out what we have.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick. It was good catching up too.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much, Theresa, for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you for listening. I'm Theresa Rowe. Everyone have a blessed day. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Shaped by Faith with Theresa Rowe. Remember to visit shapebyfaith.com to find out more about workouts, the TV show, podcasts, blogs, Shaped by Faith products, and much more.